In 2019, 61% of employees in the United States has experienced or witnessed workplace discrimination. This leads us to our question: to what extent have pregnant women faced discrimination in the workplace during the past 50 years? Good morning, my name is Juliana, and today I'm going to be talking about how pregnant women experience discrimination in the workplace. This leads us to our answer. Women extensively face hardships in the workplace in 3 ways, such as gender pay gap, transitioning into new jobs, and being questioned in their capability. Some of my possible solutions is to encourage the government to educate and make campaigns to advance gender equality. Also, boycotts and protests to change laws, as well as require employees to take courses so they gain an understanding of work-friendly attitudes. According to the Dark Side of Resilience, in America, 75% of employees consider the direct line manager the worst part of their jobs, and 65% would make a pay cut if they could replace their boss with anyone else. This is how a large majority of women feel. Many face pregnancy discrimination, including bias, which happens when pregnant workers encounter covertly behaviors such as social exclusion, unpleasant stereotyping, and rude interpersonal treatment, like moving the pregnant workers to less enjoyable shifts or assignments, or making invasive comments. This has led women to second guess their path into motherhood. Firstly, gender pay gap. As we can see in this chart, not only does gender play a big impact, but ethnicity as well. We can see how Asian women have to work 34 days extra compared to Hispanic women, which in total have to work 664 days to get the same pay as a white male would in 365 days. On this map, we can see how gender pay gap impacts different states. For example, in the light blue, we can see Florida and Georgia has a $4,500 to $9,994 difference in their wage, compared to states such as Texas and New Mexico in the darker blue, having a $10,000 to $12,444.99 difference. And finally, states such as Louisiana and Oklahoma in the dark blue, having a $15,000 or higher wage gap. Also, as we can see in the graph, we can see that men dominate most of the high-paying jobs. Men make up 73% of chief executives, 90% of architectural engineering managers, and 93% of aircraft pilots and flight engineers, showing how women are less likely to get a high-paying position and it being male-dominated. Transitioning into new jobs while pregnant. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, the Family and Medical Leave Act, employees are eligible for leave if they have worked for their employer at least 12 months, at least 1,250 hours over the past 12 months, and worked at a location where the company employs 50 or more employees within 75 miles, meaning that small business employees are not eligible and you must work for more than a year. This is significant since women carry for about 9 months, and if they decide to switch jobs, they will not be getting any benefits. By the time they reach the 12-month mark, the baby would have already arrived. In this chart, we can see in the blue how a family pay leave is impacted by gender. We can see that about 60% of men get fully paid compared to women with only 31%. We can also see in the gray area how 40% of women don't get any pay compared to 25% of men. Finally, discrimination. A business intelligence company, Morning Consult, surveyed 2,200 women, in which they found that 1 in 5 mothers, so 20%, say they have experienced pregnancy discrimination in the workplace. Overall, 8% of all women have experienced discrimination related to pregnancy in the workplace. This just shows how women are being mainly impacted, and the women who are pregnant face economical hardships because they're being denied family leave. This shows how many women face hostility within the workplace by feeling inferior for something completely natural. Feeling discriminated and looked down upon can take a toll on someone's mental health, making pregnant women's physical and mental health worsen. In the graph, we can see that pregnant discrimination lawsuits have risen from 2016 all the way to 2020 by 159. We can see that in 2016, there was about 240. In 2017, there was 305, 2018, 330, 2019, 340, and finally 2020 with 390. Some of the solutions that I came up with was to encourage the government to educate and to make campaigns to promote gender equality, also to create boycotts and protests to change laws, and to require employees to take courses so they understand how to keep a professional and friendly work environment, which I have stated in my introduction. Some of my limitations are that higher taxes are going to be implemented just so we can fund the government campaigns. However, these campaigns don't necessarily ensure change, and employees can take courses without really caring for their content. And finally, many can't really afford to miss their job or to go protest so they can, or boycott. They can also face legal charges if it's not done peacefully. So some of the solutions to my limitations is that these campaigns can be funded by donations or fundraisers. Also, workers can be fired or see consequences if they are being seen mistreating their coworkers. And finally, protests and boycotts don't have to be violent. They can be done peacefully, and also certain dates can be chosen so those people don't really lose out on their job. These are my works cited. Thank you. Any questions?
2 questions for you. How valid and reliable were the sources that you used, and then how do you know?
Well, they're very reliable just because I used a lot of U.S. Census Bureau and a lot of government-funded organizations.
Okay. And if you had more time, what additional research would you conduct on this?
I would have conducted more on the medical side and how women that are being financially impacted, how their babies and their health is being put into risk because they don't have the means to end because of the gender pay gap and because of the discrimination they're seeing in the workplace.